This is the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, where it's all about getting the information you need from successful leading marketers to build and grow your digital marketing agency. Brought to you by Itamar Shafir, founder and CEO of Umbrella, the technology platform and brand that is powering thousands of marketing agencies around the country. Find him at umbrellaus.com. Now, here's your host, Kevin Pruitt.
This is the Marketing Umbrella Podcast. My name is Kevin Pruitt. It's always an honor to host this podcast, and I love talking to people literally from all over the globe, and today is no different. Our guest has been a founder and product owner of several startups, mostly in ad tech, currently focusing on helping B2B companies through vibe coding, lead magnets, and automation flows. Apparently, he's an AI tool building wizard as well. Please join me in welcoming Nemanja Milic to the Marketing Umbrella Podcast. And he said to call him Nemo. So Nemo, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. It's such a pleasure being here and having this opportunity to talk about stuff that are going on and overall topics that you would like to ask.
He did tell me earlier before we hit the big red record button that he actually went to high school in the States, not, probably not a couple of hours north of where I am right now. So it is interesting. We were in the same time zone maybe a few years ago, but right now he's staying up late to talk to us here all the way from Belgrade.
I got used to it, just messaging to my friends from high school. So it's common for me to stay up late, and they're just like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" Like it's like probably 3 a.m. there, and I'm like, "Okay,
I thought that was the life of the founder anyway, just
exactly
kind of the life of, you're in Martech. It's just kind of the way that it is. But I'd love for you to kind of, number one, let's kind of get in the Wayback Machine a little bit and go back a little bit. So often on guests that we talk to, like when they're talking about like the tool that they build that kind of turns into a company, their product that turns into a company or service. It's so often that they were trying to solve something internally for their self, for something that there was a tool that they couldn't find that they had to build on their own. But I don't want to put words in your mouth. Tell us kind of the origin story, a little bit of Lead It and how you kind of arrived at where you are today.
Yep. Yeah. So thanks so much again. Well, as you mentioned, my background is mostly in ad tech, and kind of like the first introduction that I got to ad space and marketing was actually through marketing agencies. And my first step was back ages ago was working in the Leo Burnett famous marketing agency, where I used to work as a copywriter, and that was kind of like before like early 2012 2013. And after that, like kind of like the whole startup boom came super popular. And as everyone else, and probably like most of people like watching this podcast, we got hooked to this idea, of building something out of nothing and just kind of like making it out there and making like some good future for ourselves. So that's kind of like when I stepped into like all this like startup and tech space.
Mm-hmm.
And after kind of like several like failed projects, of course, you gotta test, you gotta try out.
Sure.
One big breakthrough was actually about that time. I think it was like 2017. There was like super popular app. Probably some of your viewers know it. It was called HQ Trivia. It was that trivia live stream game app that everybody got hooked on it and played it like live several times a day. And it had like a massive growth. And I was just like watching here from Serbia, like this is like the future of entertainment and like ad marketing and stuff, because it was like so native. People played it, but they had such a elegant way of integrating all these ads, and kind of like not feeling that you are being a product, like that you are served an ad, but just kind of like more like to integrate it in the whole experience. And I was just like, yeah, man, like why we shouldn't build this like regionally? Like let's at that time it was like popular building clones, like people in Europe especially, like whatever was working in the United States, people were like, then hey, can we clone this here? I mean, one of the most popular were like a rocket. I think it was called Rocket Company. That they got like acquired
Yeah.
by Yahoo. I think
Hmm.
they were acquired by because they were just like copying everything that it was successful in the United States. So I went with that kind of like. Reason. So we made actually like this super popular clone of HQ Trivia that kind of like had its nuances. We made it like a little bit locally. I mean, of course, the visual aesthetic of it and the everything about it was different, but it was like the same product in terms of like having this live quiz with the host that everything looks like a TV show packed in your mobile phone that
Mm.
happens several times a day, and it was free to play. Everybody could join, and you answer questions. And if you answer all the questions, you split the winning prize to all the winners.
Wow. And that's funded through like ad revenue, like,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
with
yes.
built kind of native in the app. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, there were some like in-app purchases, but those were like super minor. But basically, what we had was like ad packages, like sponsored question.
Hmm.
For example, we had P&G sponsoring us about new detergent, and it was like first question: is this I don't know, Lenor? Is this a detergent, or is it like something else? And then everybody answered correctly, and then like host like bring out the detergent. Is like, yeah, this is the one. So but with some catch, with some fun added to it. So we had a bunch of these ad packages where now we needed to sell them to companies, to
Mm.
agencies, find the decision makers, find the marketing managers, find the marketing associates, everybody that works in marketing, so
Yeah.
we can kind of like present our product, which was like super new. And of course, when there is something new, there are people that are willing to experiment, and those are the people. I mean, experiment on the client side. Those
Right.
are the people that kind of like break the wall,
Yeah.
but
Those early
and break the
adopters.
ice. Early adopters, yeah, early adopters that kind of like give you a pat, so you
Hmm.
can say to other people like, "Hey, we already did
Yep.
that, showing some results." And I mean, I think that all any startup that is in marketing space has exact same problem. It was just like just those first users,
Hmm.
just get them, just
Hmm.
make a use case however we can, so we can like go forward and kind of like acquire clients. So long story short, just kind of like to fasten a bit. So basically, what we did is kind of like first I did everything manually. I was kind of like just typing, sending emails from Gmail account,
Yeah.
having limitations on sending, doing everything manually on LinkedIn. So it was kind of like the when I was like, okay, this is taking so much time because we had so much work to do, and I can't do like as a founder, I can't do everything, and
Right.
also like do this like manual outreach. So basically, that's when I can like got introduced to these tools and found how effective they are, how amazing they are, because they automate so much stuff. So you can like really focus on your strategy and on
Mm.
your ICP, on little details, nuances that actually make something like work for you in these terms of kind of like cold outreach, getting leads,
Yeah.
getting them into the pipeline. And again, this was kind of like earlier days. This was like 2017, 18, and then was like the time when all these like tools started kind of like to
Hmm.
to to mer- like
And then it
uh,
exploded this
to
year,
mer- and
or
then yeah, this is
2025.
yeah, I
Just
mean this now it's
hey,
I mean
let me ask you a question.
yes, sure.
So you hear these terms, and I think sometimes people use them almost interchangeably, but I want to hear your definition of how these are different. So, I've heard the term MarTech, I've heard the term SaaS, I've heard the term AI tool. What's the differentiator across the board when you're talking about those things? What is the defining factor of falling in each of those categories for those that are listening, that like me, that
Yeah, I
maybe a little
mean,
bit of noobs to
yeah,
this whole
great question.
space?
I mean, well, I mean, they're mostly very similar in its structure, but kind of like if we just want to kind of like divide them. So basically, a Mart Tech is a tech tool that is in marketing and for marketing purposes. So, but SaaS can also be like a martech. So
Right, right.
basically, a SaaS is any web tool that people use there for with some features, with some specifications that got the
Much
things done.
broader
And
category.
much broader category,
Yeah.
yeah. SaaS is much broader category. When we go like in the MarTech, then we are kind of like narrowing it down. And now AI tool, I mean, is basically kind of like same as SaaS. Like people, I mean, now every SaaS will incorporate an AI tool, so they can call
Mm.
it like AI tool first and SaaS later, or they will just start with an AI tool in mind, but it's also a SaaS with an
Yeah.
AI feature in it.
Yeah, I mean, you hear these terms constantly, and then you're thinking, okay, is it levels of sophistication? Is generally an AI tool pretty simple, when
Yeah,
compared to kind of the whole software as a service space, or
yeah.
maybe an entire software, suite or whatever you want to
Well,
call it. So,
but it's basically just a terminology that you coin based on who are you communicating it to.
mm,
If an AI tool is more pleasant, it can maybe drive sales, or you're talking to an audience, it is more pleased because now SaaS is kind of like so 2023
yeah, no
or
doubt.
24.
Yeah,
Yeah, now you need to call yourself an AI tool,
like a fax
because
machine.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And Martech, I think it's even like, like even more ancient. So,
Well,
but it's
hey,
more kind of
I'm
like,
no spring chicken here, so maybe that was in my era.
no, no,
Martech.
look, look, I've been there, same with you. But yeah, Martech, I would probably use more Martech if I'm talking to like investor that stated like that he's investing in Martech. So I would maybe use that term more there, like in the industry, rather than like communicating to a customer that I have market tech, because eventually they don't care. They just care about the solution and the value that you bring.
Love it. Love it. Let's jump in and talk about just Leaded Pro.
Yep.
Just the whole concept and really I really like to focus kind of in the LinkedIn space because number one, I think of all the social media channels out there, it's probably the one that is maybe the most effective and the least utilized,
Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some ways. And so, because it's like, everybody on there, it seems like they're not just on there to just have a resume, that they're on there for a purpose. It's like a network, a business network that's trying to be built versus Facebook, showing me how to make brownies and what new puppy I got. That type of thing. So it's interesting to look at that channel. It is my favorite channel, social
Yeah.
media, to work in as well. But when you're drilling down and you're really, you were first thinking through the concept of this, what were some thoughts that were going through your mind? What were some challenges that you kind of, tried to overcome and say, you know what, this is what we're trying to build to specifically answer these questions?
Yeah. Awesome question. I mean, the to kind of like start off first, why LinkedIn? LinkedIn really now feels like Instagram 2015,
Mm,
because I mean, like a common person, like that, like when they think of LinkedIn, they probably think of cringe stuff, like being humble by my experience, like all these like posts, like from
yeah.
this like corporate jargon, but. But I just think that just because of that kind of like brings a signal that is so underutilized still, and there is huge potential of growth there. And whoever figures that out and takes like this like advantage of it can really leverage LinkedIn highly. And I mean, LinkedIn also knows this, and they are really kind of like wanting to push quality posts,
Yeah.
want to push like and share and give you reach if people are engaging there.
Yeah.
And there are still very effective ways of kind of like leveraging the algorithm in your favor with some post structures that can really bring you far and bring you a lot of reach to the people that you didn't even imagine that you can reach out to. So that's kind of like where Leaded fits, and where we kind of like decided to go all in on LinkedIn outreach.
Hmm.
We started first like with an email outreach, and it just that's such a huge space, and it's super
Yeah.
competitive, and you really kind of like need to do that at scale, and it still kind of like doesn't feel personal,
Hmm.
and you also have to battle a lot of these spamming policies from Outlook, from
Oh yeah,
Google,
Gmail.
from
Yeah.
servers, Gmail, and it's
Yeah.
a constant like kind of like hunt for the witches,
Hmm.
and everything like that. But LinkedIn on the other side, it's much more personal. You are showing to people with your face and your
Hmm.
brand and with your name. So this
Hmm.
is kind of like where we see that we can use a lot of these tactics and borrow it from another social media sites and kind of like adapt it and bring it to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I mean, again, LinkedIn is huge on video, but it's just getting started. So
Right.
when you type anything in your niche, you would see, I mean, insanely low amount of content pushed out there.
Mm.
So they just kind of like tell us that it really craves for content
Mm.
to be published.
You're the first person that I've ever talked to that I think personified, a social media channel like that. So often people talk about the algorithm, what it's trying to block and what it's trying to
No.
negate. And you're like, I'm telling you what it's craving, what it's hungry for. This is what it's
Yeah.
hungry for. And I really love that approach because it's like, forget what it won't do. Let's focus on what it wants to do, and
Ex-
just feed that. And so I look back and you think, hey, you can be sales navigator, you can just go LinkedIn Pro, whatever, and have access to these things. But one thing that was very apparent to me is, even as you were talking, was that just if you're looking at, say, email marketing versus LinkedIn has a comprehensive amount of information already, or so readily available on each potential lead, you
Yep.
know, versus just I just have an email address. And then I have to use
Exactly.
other services to tell me what the address is and tell me what
Yeah.
their phone number is and tell me what their job title is. And I mean, you'd have to add all this. They're add-ons, constant add-ons. But LinkedIn just kind of like bundles all that together for you and says, hey, we're going to tell you exactly who, and then they do a good job of trying to narrow down who your target is, that you're trying to reach. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're 100% right. I mean, just like going again back on the email side, you really also need to be like super kind of like anemic in the email, because
mhm.
any link, any
Yep,
type of keyword that you put there, I mean, you will just get blocked by the
yep,
anti-spam
yep,
servers.
yep.
So on LinkedIn, definitely, I mean, huge advantage is that you can see what people are posting, what people are talking
Hmm.
about, and you can then refer to them and watch for the signals in their posts and in their content that they push, that they share. So you can also leverage some events in their life or something that they brought the topic in their posts. So you can use that in your advantage to kind of like approach them, to don't look like a bot, or that you are out of context, and you can also start conversations, which is actually the most important thing on LinkedIn. When people think about doing LinkedIn outreach, they always like, yeah, we just want to set up a call. I mean, that's awesome, and it's really cool. And again, you did approach me with a call, but it was like you're bringing value to me. You invited me
Yeah, I just
to
want to
talk
have a cup of
about
coffee. That's right. A virtual cup of
exactly.
coffee. That's right.
Exactly, and I was amazed. And first thing I asked you, how much does it cost? And you said nothing. I was like,
Yeah, I
it
was
blew my.
wrong about that. I think it's $500 now. So
Okay.
I'll send you my Venmo.
Yeah, look, I'm getting these notifications on my phone actually from my credit card. I don't know how you made it happen, but
Love it.
good job. So it's about bringing value to the person first, and then asking for something in return. And not just kind of like, I mean, you can, of course, I mean, you can do like that, like the dormant sales approach, where you knock on every door and ask
Hmm.
if they want to buy,
Sheer
but
numbers game. That's right.
yeah, but it's a numbers game, exactly. You can do maybe that with an email, but you need to send thousands and
Yeah.
thousands of emails.
Yeah.
And with LinkedIn, you are, I mean, there are ways where you don't need to be restricted by the number of
Hmm.
connections. But
Yeah.
if you are using your profile and your personal account, then it's 1K at most,
Hmm.
if you don't want to do it over weekend. Over weekend, you can do like 1200, but that's basically that. And
Yeah. But
if
it's
you
more
want to,
targeted, much more targeted, probably,
it's much more targeted, it's much more personal,
and
and
probably
what you
effective. Yeah.
it is much more effective. And I mean, it doesn't fit every case. I mean, it's
Hmm.
not for
Sure.
everyone. And when people ask me, I mean, there are some wild use cases. I mean, there is this really interesting use case where we are doing the campaign for this fancy restaurant in Serbia, in Belgrade. It's like very nice, very posh, like a higher ticket restaurant, and it's like super small, intimate, like 15 tables. And they had this idea, yeah, we want to try to use LinkedIn and get business owners, high profile C-suite people, kind of like to get to know about us and maybe get on the radar when they want to have like this important business meeting. And yeah, it was just like a very interesting use case where their campaign was like the most successful campaign
Mm.
ever that I did, because everybody likes to be a friend and connection with the restaurant owner.
Yeah.
And then first, she's amazing. She's very nice. She has very nice profile and everything. And actually, sometimes I like to share their campaign stats to other people, but I tell them like that's not real. Like, you won't get this. This won't happen. But exactly that. You can get like very much better conversions if you have offer your audience is on LinkedIn. You have like well-defined ICP, and you can provide them value first before asking,
Yeah.
for sale for something, because I mean that's the best way to kind of like exchange
Right.
with people.
And it's a yeah, and I think it's effective. I was thinking, like, I'm curious, and I think our audience would like to know this maybe. What are one or two of the biggest mistakes you think people make in LinkedIn marketing? And I know you mentioned one about, you're trying to jump the queue, where you're not providing the value first and you're just asking for something right off the bat. But other than that, what are just one or two, kind of short, teaching moments here that you could say, yeah, I've seen this over and over again, or it happens to me,
Yeah.
all the time when people reach out to me. These are mistakes that are made, whether it's AI related, whether it's timing, whatever. I don't want to put words in your mouth. So you just, give
Yeah.
me a couple that come to mind.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely. So one of the mistakes I think that people make, and is that when they send like a connection request, they include that message in the connection request message. And the fact is that when I did like all the A/B campaign tests, always the campaign with no message had much higher connection request acceptance.
Hmm.
It's just because when there is a message there, you know that somebody wants to sell you something.
Oh, so it
and
doesn't matter
and
what they say in the message. It's just if there's a message, period.
it usually means that somebody wants to, because LinkedIn doesn't put these messages by default. So
Yeah. Right.
people need to add them.
Right.
And why are we adding them? I mean, we're all there to network, to connect. So
Hmm.
basically, the just like the vibe, and of course like the campaigns prove that like when there is like a message in the like first connection request, people are usually more hesitant to accept it, versus then, yeah, I just sent you connection because now we're networking. It's broadening our network,
Yep.
and I'm not showing you that I will engage you in any conversation, because like, okay, like, I know that you're selling me something.
What I hate is when you accept a connection request and you get an immediate message. and a
Yeah,
media salesman after the fact. That
exactly.
I hate that worse
Yeah.
than if you
That's
give it to me on the front end. So yeah,
that's another thing. That's another thing because again, yeah, it's programmatic. Again, it depends of what are you doing, what are you selling. I wouldn't say that that's like always the case, but if you are selling, if you are providing value, you can do whatever you want. If you're just like giving it,
sure.
but if you want to like get them engaged, feel natural, don't feel like programmatic or don't feel like a bot, then exactly also what you said. Don't send a message like don't put to send a message like instantly after they accept it.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like one thing that I can like share as like this like a hint
Hmm.
mistake. And another is just kind of like people need to. LinkedIn is not your ad board. It's not board for your boring ads and where you post
Hmm.
stuff. It's kind of like people are posting all these like conferences and like these like banners. Nobody sees them, and especially what they do, they post it on their business page, which LinkedIn. I don't like. They don't care. They like have zero interest in promoting anything on your FYP from your business page. And also, even if some person shares it, like the chances of that ending up on
Hmm.
anyone's feed.
Yeah.
There's just such a wasted like effort and energy and investment that somebody fills their Facebook page, LinkedIn page, like a business page, and people are like resharing it. So
Mm.
nothing will happen out of it. Especially if it's on like boring Canva graphic of whatever.
Yeah.
It's totally invisible, and people are then stressed out. What is it happening? And then they start losing faith in LinkedIn and like okay, back to the Instagram we go, which is
Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah.
Going to the Instagram, but it just kind of like doesn't work that way. You need to build audience like everywhere else through content and conversations and content that people will like, or
Hmm.
bring them value in entertainment, or you build them value in something that you give away
Yeah. No, I love that.
case studies, and that's kind of like where we are at now, and maybe that can be like a good transition to talk about the tools and kind of
Mhm.
like our approach and lead it and why we built all those AI tools
Yeah.
and how we actually got here. So basically, kind of when we figured out, and I'm a product guy by kind of like by my expertise and. Overall knowledge, I shifted away a lot into product as well,
Hmm.
and really got familiar with these like new AI tools like Lovable and Bolt, and now I'm really learning about Cloud Code and all the cursor and all the capabilities you can do with those. And that's kind of like where we figured out that while others are kind of like charging for all these tools, we can maybe use them as a lead magnet, and instead of kind of like and using all those credits, kind of like thinking about them as our marketing budget. So
Oh wow. Yeah.
instead of kind of like just like pushing some marketing budget into some promotion, let's make some value that people will share, that people will engage with, that people will use, and kind of like thank us for it, but kind of like see the value in it.
Yeah.
And we also show our expertise, and that's how we kind of like got this point where we are now. We have, I think, around 8 free AI tools, and
Hmm.
we're just like thinking, hey, what can we build more? What can we create? How can we create value for our ICP to get them engaged? So basically, on the front end, we do a lot of kind of like this comment structure posts where we start off with where people kind of like would need to comment to get the tool.
Yeah.
And after that, there are some cool tools like LeadShark.io, for example, that really automate this. So you can have like thousands of comments, and the tool will basically automatically add the people that commented, and then you would and it would send them the resource.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're all. I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, it's super popular on Instagram. There's a tool called ManyChat where it basically does the same thing. But on LinkedIn is actually super effective because again, LinkedIn really loves the people when people are engaging
Yeah.
on the content,
Yeah.
and then it really pushes it. So that's kind of like on our front end, and on the back end we have the tools. When we lead them to the tools, and then they can use, get value, and then we can follow up more naturally with them because we already kind of like gave value, and now it's like more open topic and people are more happy to talk about, start conversation, meaningful ones, and that can then lead to
Yeah.
actually closing a client, getting on that call, or whatever your incentive is.
As it, hypothetically, I'm a marketing agency owner. You know, tell me how you're stepping into that space, how that this would benefit me. What are the different ways that I could, find a handle to grab onto if I have some clients that I really want to provide these services to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's awesome. I mean, if we are talking about, for example, getting people to jump on the podcast, I would think about, okay, what would get them there first, to be like maybe some engaging experience, or kind of like crafting the questions that they would talk about, because it's all about getting something so they can like have like this idea in their mind, where maybe they could, for example, tool where they paste their website, for example,
Mm.
free tool, they paste their website, and then it just gives like a bunch of awesome questions that they would be asked. So it can like get them out there, talk about like really cool, interesting stuff, but also maybe give them a platform so they can promote themselves. So that would be something that somebody would do and was like, wow, this is a great idea. I never thought about it, because it's all about like painting picture in people's head, because I mean
Yeah.
we're all in this matrix in machine, and if you want to sell it, you need to really kind of like give them this like picture of how it would be. So this would be kind of like something of interest for
Right.
me. I'm just kind of like talking about
No, no.
just like
But is it
brainstorming right now.
yeah. Could it be a white labeled service type thing? Could like if I want to use your services for clients, how do that integration work?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, what we do is, as a white label, we can do for anybody that. So basically, we program a landing page
Mm.
that can be connected with your like subdomain,
Yep.
or it can be just like a on its own, and then you can use it in terms of kind of like the marketing and the cost for the API keys. I mean, that can be like basically both ways. We can do on our side, or we can use your own, like bring your own key. Um, Bring your own key, but basically everything is integrated with your CRM, so leads can go to your CRM.
Mm.
They also get these, for example, results on their
Yeah.
email, and everything is like super compliant with that. So that's kind of like a white label thing where we can just copy it, and we just give them that. It's kind of like a part of
Mm.
our bring
It's out of
again
your marketing
us.
budget.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a marketing budget, and basically it's in our interest to kind of like do this, kind of like stay connected to the client, and again make them revenue, and make them give them return of their investment, because if they're getting it, then we will get it.
Yeah. Hey, it'll help you scale too. So,
Eh,
that no doubt about it. No,
Yeah, yeah,
man,
exactly.
this is great. I just love the way that your eyes light up when you're talking about this, because it's like, so some people have jobs. You don't. You have a passion. You have I come to work every morning and I'm trying to think of ways to make this better every day. How do we make this more frictionless? How do we make this more effective? How do we make it more authentic? How do we make it more productive? All the things, and that I
Exactly. I
it
mean,
comes through in this chat for sure.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, exactly. I don't want to, sound, but cliche. But when you bring value to people and they're happy, there are rewards in terms of like, invoices and everything that then just comes.
Yes. Yep.
It's all about that.
They're
So
less
it's
painful.
yeah, it's less painful probably for them. I mean, for sure. But you really want to really want to make yourself. I mean, you're not always right. You make mistakes, and that's like the whole journey of being a business owner. To just make as much as mistakes,
Yeah.
like cheap mistakes as you
Right.
can. But that's the ultimate goal, kind of like to be joyful to work on the stuff, and always, have something to come to.
Well, this is good. I told you before we recorded that I wanted to honor your time tonight because I know you got a very important engagement to get to right after we finish here. But
Thanks,
I'm going to
man.
go through this is our rapid fire as we
Yeah,
kind of close the chat today. But I'm going to ask you questions, just very quick answers, very short, concise. First thing that comes to mind. No, there's no wrong answer here. These are all your answers. So, did you get along with your parents growing up?
yes,
Do you have siblings?
no,
Any pets?
no,
Children?
yes, one daughter.
One daughter. That's the special occasion we got to get to.
That's
So,
a special occasion.
so on a typical work day, what time do you get up in the morning? What time do you wake up?
Well, since I'm taking my kid to the kindergarten, that would be like 7 a.m.
And what time would you go to bed normally? Asleep.
Well, again, we wait for her to sleep and then to have a bit of time for us. So it's like 11, 12.
All right. Ideal vacation spot anywhere in the world. Money not an object.
Oh man, sailing in Greece. That's
Say,
one of my
oh wow, the
passions and
islands.
hobbies. Yeah, 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 I'm also like a certified skipper, so yeah, we love doing that.
There's nothing like the Mediterranean, that's for sure. Tell me, how does faith affect the way you do business?
Faith in yourself, it's most important thing. I mean, if in terms of like faith overall, if you're talking about Christianity and that type of faith, we are here Christian Orthodox. I am so it's a bit kind of like different than I mean I lived in the US and it's just kind of like a bit different. I'm not really using that part of faith, but I'm using faith in myself, and you
Yep.
really need to have faith and sometimes be crazy, irrational faith. And just do things, because again, at the end of the day, everything is invented by people. So we can also reinvent ourselves over and over. So and you need to believe it. You really need to believe it because nobody, if you're not believing it, nobody will believe it for you.
So let's say you're king for the day, king for a day in the marketing space. What is one thing you would change about marketing overall?
Oh man, budgets.
More or less?
Well, I mean, you know, more for me, but overall less. Overall less. I mean, just insanely. Some when you hear some stuff, how much it costs, you're just like, man, like
Hmm.
that does it make even sense? I mean, when you're doing stuff, you really need to spend so much, and that's kind of like also like why our approach is kind of like thinking about it differently, thinking about more through value, rather than just like let's burn, burn, burn.
Hmm.
So this is also kind of like I mean, it's not kind of like being on a budget, but doing it smartly and kind of like effectively.
Yeah, cost effective. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Adding value for sure.
Yeah.
Well, man, thank you so much just for taking the time, Nemanja. It's been a great chat. I've really enjoyed it. You made me smile a lot, during our chat here. And I think you just really worked at trying to add value so agency owners can grow and scale their businesses, and that is what we're all about. So, thanks again, and glad that you can get to your next important appointment this evening for you. And I really appreciate you taking time today. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Really appreciate it. It was also my honor. And yeah, just saying hi to all your viewers. And Thank you so much again.
We will make sure that all of the contact information is in the show notes, so you can check in with Nemanja on this. Nemanja, thanks again, buddy. Look forward to checking in again.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another great episode of the Marketing Umbrella Podcast, where we provide the information you need from successful leading marketers to build and grow your digital marketing agency. To learn more, go to umbrellaus.com.